Hey, how's it, Aloha gang, and welcome back to High Now Daily. We're standing street side right now as we continue to talk about the Oahu Destination Management Action Plan and the support that Hawaiʻi Tourism Authority has for regenerative tourism as we move into the future. We want to welcome in John Nuuchi, the Deputy Director for the Department of Transportation Services. Welcome in.
Aloha.
Mahalo for being here. So, at its most simplest level, tell people about the Oahu Destination Management Action Plan and just what it is.
Sure, the destination management is really simply just about how we choose to better get around this very congested island of ours. There's, before it used to be you landed on the island, you rented a car, somebody picked you up, you got around by car or you got around by bus. That's not true anymore. We have so many networks. We have all kinds of things going on. We got bus, we got Skyline, we got bike share, all kinds of alternative modes of transportation. Got a lot of that kind of stuff going on. So before we didn't have too many choices, but now we have quite a plethora of choices to get around this island.
Definitely, John. And I want us to kind of walk here street side because recently something wasn't. Let's talk about this resident sentiment survey and what was discovered.
Especially like even leading into the pandemic, but definitely during the pandemic and post-pandemic, everybody's attitudes towards how busy our island was really shifted. And we saw a lot of residents just being turned off by so many visitors in places that they'd never seen them before, in their neighborhoods, in little hiking trails that became popular because of social media. All that contributed to a lot of pressure for our island residents.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned as we started talking about alternative transportation. Let's talk a little bit about how important that is and what some of that alternative transportation resources kind of look like.
Sure. I mean, right now we're walking through Kaka'ako right now.
Right.
Kaka'ako is a really nicely developing neighborhood, right? And we're really lucky that it has a lot of...
Right here, alternative...
Exactly. I mean, Kaka'ako is a great place to ride our bike share system, which is called Biki. And, it's just, we have so many ways to get around Kaka'ako. You can get here via a bus, like right here. You can take a Biki. There's so many different ways to get around that it's no longer just about driving someplace, finding parking, and enjoying your destination.
Now, John, as we enter back in here to Lonohana now, let's talk about how important that messaging is. The fact that people know that alternative transportation is available and how that really supports goals at multiple levels as Hawaii moves forward.
So statewide, we know that transportation is one of our greatest issues here in the state. And I think we really want people to, not only our visitors, but even our residents, to understand that there are different ways to get around. And, I always like to think that sustainability, that's when we achieve things and they become normal to us and we don't think about it anymore. So the very act of something becoming sustainable is doing things normally that we don't think about. And how we get around now, I think for too long we thought about our only way to get around is by using a car. And at least, all of our islands have public transit systems, and I think we're all working very hard to bolster all of these networks. Whether you want to use a car, whether you want to use a bike, whether you want to walk, we're also making it easier to walk places and bike places. So that whole idea of the how and why we get around, it's not limited to just cars, parking, and driving.
All right, John. Well, thank you so much for the information. Very important information. And again, there's so many different methods and alternative options that are out there for us to move about the island. You're watching High Now Daily. We'll be right back.